And good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everyone. We're so happy to have you here today.
Absolutely. It is the CCI radio show here on your Saturday, June 18th. Wow, you know it was June 18th already?
I really can't believe it. I really can't believe that already.
I know.
More than half of the year is over.
Woo! Tell you what, we had a lot of fun this month, Bobby D.
Sure have.
And we're still continue to have a lot of fun.
Yes, absolutely. And we're going to have a really, really good interview. We're so happy that you are here to join us. We have a very special guest. So stick around because very soon we're going to bring him on.
That's right. The CCI radio show
starts now.
Love that intro.
I know you do.
It's probably one of my favorite intros.
I think so.
Kind of animated, 80s
Yeah.
type of thing with the
Gotta
car
love the
rolling
80s.
down.
Gotta love the 80s.
Absolutely. Well, like we were saying, we have a special guest on tap today. And good morning, Shar Dreams.
Oh, good morning. Good morning, sister. We're so happy to have you here.
Absolutely. We are going to have a ball. We have a special guest we're going to bring on in just a moment. Let's just do a little intro.
Absolutely.
Bobby
Let's go
D.
for it.
We are really excited to have our guest on the show today. He is a screenplay writer and an actor.
Yes.
And he is a writer for the film Way to a Woman's Heart, starring Andrew R. McAllister and Naz Pankey. And I saw a little bit of that, and that was really... I saw the sneak preview, the snippet. That was really good.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
So you got to watch it.
Definitely
when you can.
will. Yeah, definitely will.
Watch it when you can. Definitely.
Okay.
It's a must.
Okay.
And he's also a friend of our friend, Lester the Connector.
That's right. Lester Green.
Who was on our show not too long ago.
That's right. And we were on his show not too long ago.
And we were on his show not too long ago. And it's just an honor and a pleasure to have this gentleman on the show. And we've been talking about this for weeks.
That's right. So we're very excited to have him on.
Absolutely.
Good morning, Sister Danetta.
Hey, Danetta, good morning to you. And we are going to bring our guest on right now, Mr. Robert Sear. Let's get him in here.
I think you can.
There he is.
There he is.
Hey, guys.
Good morning to you. How you doing, Robert?
Good.
How are you?
Oh, doing well.
Doing good.
Thank you. We're happy you're here.
Well, I'm happy to be here with you.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us and
yes,
taking the time to speak with us and our listeners. It's very exciting.
Well, it's exciting for me, to be invited on with you. I mean that. I've been looking forward to doing this. As you say that you were looking forward to speaking with me, I've been looking forward to doing this with you. I really have been.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And we had the opportunity to chat a little bit on Shar's Adult Conversations. Actually, Shar is here as well.
Yes.
So I'm so happy.
Yeah, she's
Hi, Shar. How are you, Shar?
She's in the background. She's watching. So, we all had a great time on our show, Robert. And we were just really waiting to have you aboard. And now we have you here.
That's right. So we've got some fun questions and things for you. So, Sam C., you want to start it off?
Sure. Well, sir, would you mind just introducing yourself to our audience?
I'm Robert Sear. I'm a screenplay writer. That seems to be the bulk of what I'm doing right now. I came in as an actor, and the only reason I came in as an actor is because my good friend Lester the Connector invited me onto a few of his independent films. So through him, this kind of sort of transitioned over to writing, and that's kind of the bulk of my work right now, and I enjoy it. I never realized that when I retired from the private sector, I was going to be doing something like this, and I'm having a lot of fun. It's like a second career for me.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and that's exactly what I was going to say. This is a second career for you as well. Like how do you go from such a wonderful career in the private sector, as you said, to now all of this, all of this screenwriting and acting.
I don't know. It's kind of weird because, obviously if someone would have said when I retired that I would be doing anything like this, I would have laughed. I would have thought they were nuts. But and yet here I am doing that. And the movie that you referenced, the short film, that was thanks to Naz. Naz invited me on to write for a web series that she had called Finding Mr. Right Now. And this was my input. And what's so incredible about it is that both Andrew and Naz kind of sort of knew each other a little bit through, passing, but they never knew each other that well. And then all of a sudden, this short film that I wrote, Way to a Woman's Heart, brought them together. And now in real life, through the film, they're actually a couple.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
That is so cool.
That's something.
That is really,
That's really cool. I like that. You just never know how God will weave these.
You know what? It's really interesting because I was actually getting ready to throw in the towel, so to speak. I had this one day, it was a really bad day, where everybody was telling me, you know what, you're not going to make it as a writer. This is not going to happen. You're kidding yourself. And I kept getting this. So by the end of the day, I was pretty convinced that I wasn't going to be any good at this. Now, keep in mind, I had already written about a half a dozen scripts.
Yes.
So I was ready to throw in the towel. I texted Lester, and I said to him, Lester, I don't think I'm going to be any good at this. I think it's time for me to admit it to myself and go back to what I was doing, which was being retired. Well, he calls Naz up. Naz, we got to do an intervention. Robert is getting ready to throw in the towel. He's getting ready to jump off the cliff. So they both, exactly what they did. They both spoke to me, walked me back off that proverbial cliff.
Yes.
And then here I am. She invites me on her web series. I write a script that had she not called, had she not been involved, I would never have written this script. And maybe they never would have met that way.
Wow.
So think about that. That's kind of odd. That's really weird when you think about it.
Wow. That's an awesome story.
It's like a spiritual connection.
Yes.
Wow.
That is absolutely amazing.
That is such an awesome story.
And speaking of which, I do this on every one of these podcasts. I always like to pitch my friend Naz's book.
Absolutely.
Evergreen Uprooted, which talks about what she went through when she was growing up in the Bronx. And she only grew up maybe a mile or two from where I grew up in the Bronx, only years apart.
Yes.
But she went through a very, very tough. If you ever have a chance, you really have to read her book because she had an amazing life. For her to do that, go through all of what she went through, and actually succeed.
Yes, absolutely. Wow. And we can't wait to have her on our show as well because Sam has been talking about reaching out to her. Yeah. I said Robert and Lester, they really want us to connect with her. I said so we're gonna definitely have to get her on the show.
And since I'm pitching books, I'll pitch my friend Lester's book.
Hey,
love yourself.
Oh my God,
I gotta pitch books. I'm pitching books.
We'll see. Hey, we're right there with you.
I like that.
We told Lester he sent us the book and we read it. I was doing some work. I don't remember what work I was doing, and Sam says, "Oh, the book came from Lester." I said, "Well, start reading it while as I'm working." And then look, I'm like, "Whoa, it's such a good read." And not only is it a good read, it's filled with so much information that's it's just straight to the point. This is what you need to do. This is what you shouldn't do. This is what I did that I thought this was going to work, but not really. So I changed it and it worked. So I told him he has to put it back on the market. It's got to go back on the market.
He should, because it's also something I would even say should meet the schools, because
Agreed.
think about it, we sometimes are self-defeating. We,
Yes.
we do things, we say things that we convince ourselves, as I almost did. I was getting ready to quit. And you have to really treat yourself with respect.
Yes.
And I think that would be an incredible book for school kids, anybody,
Agreed.
to read and take it into your own life.
Agreed. So, that's so true. And I see we've got some
comments.
We got some comments here.
Let me go. Let me go up a little bit. I think I might be missing a couple of things. So give me 1 second.
Well, Shar did say hello.
Yes,
Robert.
she does. She said hi, Robert. And then we have and then we have In My Element with Neela. Good morning to you. She says,
good friend of ours who also has a show. I'm sure she'll probably want to speak to you as well. I'm sure
as well. She says Grand Risings. That's amazing, and she wants to tell you, Robert, I need someone to write my movie.
Oh,
that's a deal.
There it is. There it is. and good connection. Love it. And Neela is also like Char out of Chicago, so that would be a lovely connection. Right there.
You know, Char had me on her show a couple of weeks back.
Yes,
and we did this that she put together. The theme was actually something that I kind of try to live my own life by. It talked about acts of kindness, which is an incredible aspect. It's sometimes words that people say, but they don't necessarily act on a regular basis. And there's a movie that I wrote, a script that I wrote that I'm now pitching, because I think it's something that everybody should see. And when I wrote it 2 years ago, what's the one aspect I said that needs to be recognized? And it's about a man who's portrayed through acts of kindness to people who he didn't even know. And he was, and his daughters find out about this after their father had passed.
Wow.
So, and that's the way I wrote it. I wrote it to that theme. Let's show each other kindness. It's easy to be kind to somebody who you like. It's not easy to be kind to somebody who you don't like.
That's so true.
That's true.
So true.
Or don't know. That's
so true. That's so true. I see. Oh, you see some more comments there.
Yeah, I was trying to see if I got everything. So Shar says, I can't wait to see that film. She put fire, and she put so sexy. Yeah, I have to agree with her.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that either. Neela says she loves a good love story. Shar says reasons why we can't listen to people. We need to tune into our purpose.
Yes.
That's perfect. Let's see. And then she said powerful. Neela would love to have you on her show.
I'm there. I'm there.
So we'll definitely make that happen.
Make that connection.
Sounds good. We can wrap this one up, and I can.
That's right. Well, her show is Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
And 8 a.m. Central Time.
Okay,
so she could talk to you.
Okay.
Yes.
So she could probably talk to you today, and you'll be there on Monday.
Yeah. And it's her show is it's the In My Element morning show. Her show is so informative. I mean, they have so many different topics and guests that they have on the show, but I would say, it's definitely a must watch, even for people who don't get a chance to watch it live. When you go back and watch the replays, it's a really good show. And Neela is a lot of fun. She has a lot of energy. Her co-host Randall, very nice, and they both do a great job with the show. So
yeah, so I think it would be a wonderful connection.
And you're welcome, Neela.
I'm looking forward. This is all, I think what's so great about this, because I never did anything like this. Like I said, I never know I would be doing anything like this when I retired. Yeah. So I treat this like it's brand new, because it is. It's so much fun.
Yes.
To use a little. I get a chance to have my ego stick out a little bit. if my wife was here right now, she's still inside.
Oh,
Would just say, oh, you're just doing what comes natural to you.
here you go. We'll tell her good morning and
Yes.
hello. She
Yes.
can pop in on the screen if she wants to.
Yeah. We don't bite.
We don't
No,
bite.
and let me tell you, she actually, I think Char, at some point, she's going to have her new season. And I think that both my wife and I and Andrew and Naz are going to be on the show together.
Oh,
Nice.
very nice.
And it's going to be interesting because we're both going to be talking about each other's how we met. And I think that's just, it's something that everybody needs to see.
Absolutely. So true.
I can't wait to see that.
Yes, that'll be a good show. That'll be
another must watch.
That's right. That's right.
See these must watch right here.
That's so true. That's so true.
So, can you tell our audience, even though we were briefly talking about Way to a Woman's Heart, can you briefly tell everybody about that? Because it seemed like it was a lot of fun to do. And did it take a long time to write it and get it produced and directed?
It was actually it was a lot of fun. The interesting thing is when you write a short, and my wife will be the first one to accuse me of this. I'm a storyteller. I mean, I can tell a good story. I can tell a good yarn. I really can. And it's not that easy to write a 6-minute script, because you got to come right to the point. You got to get right to what the thing is about. And that's not easy for me to do. I like to beat around the bush. I like to, kind of juice it up a little bit.
Yes, make it colorful.
Yes.
That's what a nice screenplay, what a nice feature-length film is like. But to write a short, it looks like it could be easy, but it really isn't, because you really have to tie it all together. And then, of course, not only did Naz star in it, but she also directed it. So to put all of those elements together, that's just a credit to her. That's a credit to her and Lester, because Lester also co-produced it. So, I just happen to be the writer who writes a good story, a short story, and then they ran with it and made it to be what it is. And I think it's an incredible story. I can't believe that I wrote this.
I love it. I love it.
I gotta pinch myself, and I'm like, did you really do this? and I go back to the script, and I'm saying maybe they ad-libbed some things. And I said, no, they really stuck to the script. They made me look larger than life.
Oh my goodness, I love it.
Well, all I say is that when I watched that, I was just like one of those people, like, man, I need to have more. I wish I had more. I mean, I could have really, it's like by the time you start getting your popcorn together, and you're like, oh man,
It's over.
Yeah, it's it.
It's over.
It was getting good. I mean, it was good at the beginning, then it was like, oh man, it's getting even better.
Yeah. It would be nice if maybe at some point down the road, if we can actually make it a feature, because we need to see that. We need to see films about two people meeting, or just something positive, because I know that there's a place for crime drama. I realize that. And I'm not saying I don't like watching them, but I think we need to have more of these kind of movies that talk about a positive aspect of life. Let's even it out a little bit. Let's balance it out a little bit and show a better aspect of ourselves.
Oh, so true. So
I agree
true.
with that.
My goodness. And I was going to ask, is there a future in, maybe trying to extend the movie? So yes, that's excellent.
Well, actually, believe it or not, originally when I wrote this, I wrote it with 3 parts, and actually I was working on the 4th to it, because we thought at first when we were going to do this, it was going to be a much longer version of the one that you saw. And it just turned out that Andrew and Naz fell in love during the filming. I think they fell in love at the table read. They didn't even get to the camera yet, and they were already forget it. That was it. And there goes my part 2, my part 3, my part 4.
There it is.
It said, "Hey, listen, life imitated art."
That's so true. I love when that happens, though.
Yeah.
I love when that happens.
I
Oh,
agree with that.
I see. Boy, these the messages are coming. Whoa. Okay.
Well, it looks like I think I might have read that. It says Shar says she's looking forward to that episode.
Oh yeah, but there
Maybe
was,
I didn't. Before that, I think I might have.
Neela's laughing at us. That was recent. Okay, so there we go. Oh, Danetta, there we go.
Okay, so we got a little bit to go here. Give me 1 second. See how far. Okay. This actually starts with Neela says, "Wait till he hears my story."
Oh yes, that's true.
So
Neela has quite a story.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then she said, "I'm the opposite. I'm kind to people I don't know," and she's true about that.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. Yes. And she said, talk about Robert. He's encouraging because I've always wanted to act.
Oh.
Wow. Well, you know what? Naz was she was directing, producing. She doesn't really go in front of the camera. I didn't have to convince her. I asked her. I said, I know you don't do this. I said, but I really think that this is a film that I'm writing that you should act in. She didn't like, oh, I don't know. She actually did it. It was Andrew who stepped in because originally I wrote it for Lester to act. And Lester, I think, knew that Andrew, I'm guessing this now. I think Lester knew that Andrew, this was something he should do. So Lester was being who he is, and he stepped back and he says, I think you should do this, Andrew. And now look, it's all.
Look at that.
It's real. It's real.
Yes. Isn't that beautiful?
That's is. I'm just loving this.
Yeah. So Char's, let me see. Good morning. Oh, wait.
Oh, right here.
Oh, wait. I agree, Neela. Neela is the life of the party. Wait, Danetta
Danetta said that Neela would make a great actress.
Yes, she would. She would. Danetta is another friend of ours out of Chicago who is quite the singer. And I know she's going to get me.
We're not trying to put you on the spot. Hey, this was Bobby, not me. I just wanted to let you know.
She does a lot of karaoke, but she
has a great voice.
I've heard her because I only sing karaoke, but she's a very good singer. So I don't know if Robert, you might be one that could help kind of coax
the turn that wheel. I can turn you know what? I think it's all about having fun and enjoying the moment. And I think if you can do that and not think about it as, oh man, I don't know, can I do this? I think you just have to do it and have fun with it. I mean, I'm not a good singer. In fact, I hope nobody ever asks me. Oh my God, I'm in trouble if that happens. But and I've heard Char sing.
Oh yes, she's fantastic.
When Lester was on her show, both of us, Lester before me, we're buying the song that she had because that's Char was probably saying, who is this Robert guy? Who is he? So it's so funny. You do these things because you want to support the other person, and I think when you do that, all of a sudden people say, hey, you know what is this guy about, or what is that girl about? And that's kind of how this happened, and that's how I met the two of you.
Yes, so true.
And it's a good thing we met too.
Yes, and I'm so thankful that you jumped in there, on Lester's interview. That was wonderful.
That's exactly what it is. I was on his interview that you did. I mean, it was early. It was 10. And in fact, I was coming back from an audition, believe it or not. I said, wow. I gotta make it back. It was an early audition, and but I made it back. I think it had just started. And then I was able to chime in, and watch it, and that's kind of how I got to see that show that you did.
Yes, and we're so thankful because you
should have seen Lester's face when your name popped up in the chat.
He was so happy.
He actually stayed with us. Lester and Naz both stayed with us for about 4 or 5 days, and. We had a blast. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
They were, they wanted to do some things, because it was their first time in New York.
Yes.
I don't know, maybe a couple of years.
Mm.
And in fact, Lester and I met because he and Rick lived in the same building as my wife and I.
Is
And,
that right?
and I'll tell you, if I hadn't have seen him when I did, we would have missed each other completely because
Oh, wow.
I never met Lester at all. Didn't know him until our doorman told me about him. Lester found out that what I was doing, and then we just kind of connected. They were getting ready to move to Atlanta, so there's a possibility we may never have met.
Oh my goodness. Divine intervention. Divine intervention.
Exactly.
That's
God,
right.
God does work out there.
Yes, he does.
He really does.
He's
He's
working hard. He's working hard. Oh
Yes.
my goodness. That is amazing.
Just another hard worker.
That's
Let
right.
me read the comments just really quick too. I don't think I got them all.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I believe, and I missed this probably about 5-6 minutes ago. I would, because all the comments were coming so fast.
Yes.
Because when Robert comes on, all the comments are just flying down. So I think Shar was saying good morning to your wife. Am I right?
Okay.
So good morning to your beautiful wife.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to let her know. She won't come out now because she knows that I'm doing this. So she's keeping to herself. I thought I was going to have to really convince her to do the show that Char is going to do when she does her new season. I thought I was going to have to beg her, oh, please, baby, you got to do this. But I didn't have to. I asked her once, told her the theme. She says, oh, okay. I didn't think she was going to do it.
No, that's
I
funny.
really didn't think so.
I love it. I love it. Oh my
Because you do that. That's your thing. You do it.
goodness. Right. Like, Robert, you got this. You don't need you're good. You're good.
No,
at least in your own mind, you're good at it.
I love it. I
like
it.
that idea. That's so
Let's see,
funny.
Danetta's laughing at us.
Yes. And Shar said, what the world needs now is more love.
That's right.
And she said, that's so romantic. Neela was laughing. Danetta was laughing. Tell her, Bobby. Tell her. And okay, they're all talking amongst each other here. It looks like Shar says, I appreciate your support. And looks like Neela was talking to everybody else. And Danetta said, it's wonderful. All these connections are happening. Yes, it is.
That's so true.
I think I got all the comments.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly. It is. It's really amazing when you think about how all people have met. I mean, through Lester, I think my circle now, it just keeps exponentially growing.
It's growing.
I mean, it's just, it's really incredible. I wish I could be more like that because I'm somewhat introverted, I think, where I can't get out and, and be him. Sometimes I want to be more like him.
Oh, okay.
It's easy. It comes easy to him. I mean, it really does. I think he just wakes up and it's like, okay, who am I going to be today?
He's just ready.
He's ready. He's ready.
He's just ready to do it.
That is funny.
We did hear that he was supposed to stay with you and your wife.
Yeah. When
he was in New York, and we were. Oh, that's what that's a wonderful thing to already have someone right there, so he can go ahead and work on the show that he was working on. We're excited to hear all of what happened.
Well, Lester came first. Lester stayed with us for a few days before Naz came. And then once Naz came, I said, Lester, I love you, bud, but I'm going to have to kick you out of that room because Naz is coming in. He says, oh, yeah, it's okay. I'll sleep on the floor.
I'll sleep on the floor.
I said, okay, I got a sleeping bag. I'll bring it out.
Yeah, we'll cover you up with the sleeping bag.
We'll make sure that you're nice and comfy.
That's
and he loves gummy bears. Oh my God.
Hey,
you get him a package of gummy bears, and he's a friend for life. He'll never leave. He may never leave.
Robert. If you do that to me, I'd be your friend for life too.
I'm gonna have to do that.
How about chocolate covered gummy bears?
I know we have them here somewhere because my wife, who got them for him, I think bought some for us. I just don't know where she has them. But we actually have them ourselves. I just don't eat them. I said, we'll save him for his next visit when he comes in.
That's a good idea. Yes, yes. And tell
And
her
this
to
time we're
get
going
the
to
chocolate
charge him.
covered
This
next
time we're going to charge him for
chocolate covered gummy bears are good too.
Oh, wow.
So
Add that to the list.
add that to the list.
Yes.
I haven't had a chocolate covered gummy bear in a long time, so I'm
Mhm.
sure. I guess they're still out there. I guess
They should be.
They should be. I guess they should be. Everything covered in chocolate is perfect, right?
You can't go wrong there.
If it's dripping in chocolate, you're good, right?
Can't go wrong there.
I love
Well,
it. I love it.
we all know that we're living in the day and age of the pandemic. You know, we're a couple years into it. We're all making it, but it's been hard for some people.
Yes.
And during this time, Robert, how has it impacted you at all as far as anything you're doing?
You know what? It impacted me in a good way. It impacted me in a bad way because, I was just getting started
Yes.
when this all happened. So I'm trying to, get things going as being an actor. Now, this was before the writing came in. So I'm going on casting networks and I'm trying to get, interviews for jobs and stuff. And I said, and then the pandemic came. So what I did was, which I'm glad. So this was the good part of it, is I went on uh, this one link that I think Lester sent me, where there was a writer who was pitching the idea for Final Draft, which is
Mm.
a screenwriting program. And I listened to what she had to say, and I said, you know what? I have the ability to create, but what I don't have is the tools to do
Mm.
it. So I purchased it, went through the tutorials, and I did all this during the pandemic. So
Mm.
during the pandemic, that year, 2020, I must have, I don't know, I guess I must have written about 7 or 8 feature-length screenplays,
Oh my goodness.
and one, well, and then a couple of shorts, one being "Way to a Woman's Heart." It paid. I would say during the pandemic, it helped me to be creative. It helped me to put together and teach myself how to write. Because even when you write something, I can't just write it and put it away. I have to write it, go back to it, reread it, rewrite it, reread it, rewrite it. And that's kind of, I think, the life of a writer, because you want to make sure that it's not only say perfect, but it's close to perfection as you can
Absolutely.
get.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you want to make sure that it's something that you yourself would want to go see.
Correct.
That's so true.
Correct. Correct. And I mean, although I've written uh, crime drama, I've written horror, but I think the thing I really like to do is to write movies that show the better side of us as
Yes.
human beings. It's kind of what really thrills me as far as what I want to go see. This is what I want to go see. I want to see movies that depict people who maybe are going through a little something, but are able to recover and show that better part of themselves.
Yes. That's so true. And that's exactly what we need, especially in this time in history.
You know
So
what?
much.
In this time, anytime. I mean,
Anytime. Yes.
anytime. I think like I said, I understand, I get it about crime dramas or horror or any other kind of movie. I've done them myself. I've gone to them myself.
Yeah.
I just think we should balance it out
Yeah.
and have something that showcases people doing the right thing,
Mm.
showcases people acting in a humane kind of way,
Mm.
whatever that might be. And I like this. I just wish we would do more of that.
Mhm.
And I'm hoping I could be a part of that and fix it, and let's get more of that content out there. Because I think sometimes when we see all of the negative stuff out there, it's impossible to think it doesn't affect you, because it
Mm.
does. We just think it doesn't, but it really does.
It
So
does.
when you could see something where a person is acting kindly to another human being, you're like, wow, that is really nice. I wish more people would do that in real life. They
Yes.
do. I just think sometimes we don't see it or we don't hear about it because we hear and we see all the negative stuff all the
Mhm.
time on TV, whether it's the news or whatever it might be. You know, I think that's the problem is that people need to be more involved with
Yes.
doing good deeds, if you want to call it. You know, do a good. You know remember the old saying, "Do a good deed every day."
Yes.
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 Why not? I mean, what's so bad about that?
Right.
That's a good way to live by. If you can do one good deed, maybe you can do two or
That's right.
more.
Or more. That's right.
People need to think about that.
That's so true. And it's funny. We were having a discussion. Sam and I met at in college. And my one of my professors. I won't say who she is because she's actually related to someone who's dealing with some of this drama right now
Hmm.
happening. So we won't
Hmm.
mention her name. But the one of the things that she said on my very first day in her class was that the media is there to cause chaos. And that always stuck with me. That
Hmm.
always stuck. And I
Yeah.
thought, boy, wouldn't it be so much nicer though if the media was mostly there to,
Well,
cause
listen,
happiness
I
or
say do what you're there to do. You're
yes,
Wait.
reporting news.
right.
You're not there to influence people. You're not there to offer an opinion
Yes,
about whatever it is. I don't care what side of the spectrum you're on.
absolutely.
Just report the news and be done with it and go on to your life so we can go on to ours. And
That's
you're right. What
absolutely
you
right.
just said, Bobby, is absolutely right. They're there to cause chaos because
Yes,
the more of it that they cause, the more the board lights up with
yes,
Yes.
wanting more. And I think that's part of it, especially when you're doing interviews like this one. We've all done things in our lives that we're not proud of.
right.
None of us are perfect.
Yes,
And I think the gotcha game, where an interview takes place and somebody is asked a question that they're not expected coming, and
hmm,
now you're put on the spot. And what do you do? I mean, I don't understand the thrill of all of that. Watching somebody self-destruct
yes,
on an interview because somebody thought it was a good idea to hit them with something that they didn't see coming.
right. It's terrible. I think it's
Yeah.
because you should try to put yourself in that person's
A
shoes.
lot of
Like,
people don't.
what would you do if
Yeah.
someone asked you
Absolutely,
a crazy
absolutely,
question? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
true.
Absolutely. Oh, you know what, Robert? We've got a comment for you and a
Oh,
question.
oh,
Okay, I'm
okay.
ready.
The comment comes from Neela. First of all, let me ask you: are you busy this coming Monday?
No, not at all. I'm
Would you?
free. Thankfully, I'm retired, so I don't have like every most people do the 9 to 5.
Okay.
So no, I'm free.
Well, Neela would like to have you on her show in my element with Neela this coming Monday.
Okay, I'm there.
And she said she's off of work and she'll be hosting this Monday, and she hopes that that works for you, and she wants you to call her, and she's looking forward to it.
As am I now.
Excellent. Excellent.
So
We'll
we'll
definitely
get that
we'll
information to you
send this
after the
information.
show's over.
Yes.
So thank you so much for that, Neela. You
Thank you,
guys are
Neela.
Yeah, you guys
We
have a great
appreciate
time. We're
that.
looking forward to seeing your show too.
Yes.
And Shar, question for you, sir.
Hmm.
How can I audition for one of your love stories? I
Ah,
may need
Oh
to
man,
find my
that's
next boo.
oh
ah,
my. Consider it done. Consider it done. I
I
just need a
love it.
producer. If you guys know any producers, I'm there. In fact, one of the things that I do, and I don't know if this will work, because I know when a producer, casting director, when they get a film that they're going to do, the writer has very little say in what is going to happen, and I know that
Mm,
just from things that I've heard and read. But I'm one of those guys that when I write something, I write it for a particular character or a
Mhm.
particular
nice.
person. because Lester was the one that walked me into this business 3+ years ago. Most things that I've written kind of geared toward him, toward his personality. And as I'm meeting more people in the business, I'm now writing, gearing it toward them and what they do and how they are. So if I have any input to a producer, I would say, hey, I think Char would be perfect for that role because I
Yes.
wrote it that way.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I love it.
Nice.
I love that. Yeah. Well, does anybody? Well, actually, also interesting too. Neela, she is good friends with. I don't know if you know this comedian and actor named Michael Collier. So
Okay, yeah.
she has some connections with him. They actually grew up in
Childhood friends.
Childhood friends, yes. So maybe she or Michael Collier might know a
Some people.
producer or something. I'm sure Michael Collier probably would know. So
Well,
I
I
would
would
imagine.
feed into that whole idea. I mean, I'm not asking, say, I only want to write this, but I'm going to try to feed into the idea of doing other scripts like the one that I mentioned, because I think I'd like to see more of that. So,
Yes.
who better to pitch that? Who better to demonstrate that or promote that than me?
Yes.
I just think we need to see more of those kinds of movies.
So
The one
true.
that I'm referring to, I call it The Bench, and it's about a man who showed acts of kindness toward strangers, people that
Mhm.
he didn't know. And the only reason that it happened is because his daughters, found it after he had died. And he had a
Oh,
journal that he kept all of these things that he did, and they found it by accident. And they're like, how could he do all this? We didn't even know our father, really? So that's kind of the way I wrote it. And when I do that, when I write other things, I want to touch that chord in your heart that really, makes you want more of that kind of stuff.
oh, and I know you'll do it too. I know
I
you'll
will.
do it.
Oh, absolutely.
I know you
Yes,
will. Oh, that is wonderful. Well, do you have any new projects coming up or
I do.
anything you'd like
I'm
to
actually
promote?
working on one right now, and this one is dear to me because my cousin last February, had passed away, needing
Oh,
needing a transplant.
Oh,
His heart had failed,
um,
and
I'm so
I'm sorry to
sorry.
hear that.
when I am too, because
Mm.
his mother is my godmother, so we
Mm,
were all very very close when we were growing up.
yes.
And he was a fireman, went to Ground Zero after
Oh,
9/11,
yes.
and that was probably the direct result of what happened to him.
Absolutely agree.
So
Absolutely agree.
when he passed away, needing a heart transplant, I said I have to do something about this. I mean, I know there's nothing I can do. I can't help him, but I can at least bring awareness because
Yes.
I myself, I'm an organ donor.
Oh,
So if God forbid, if something happens to me, there's a possibility I might be able to save one person's life or
sure.
two.
Right.
So that's what I wrote about. I wrote about that, um, and it shows a person because this was something I found out about while I was writing this. I had to do some research, and I come to find out that people who have received donations, organ donor donations, that their life changed. Uh,
Mm,
Not because they were so much spiritually aware of what happened, their personality changed because somehow when they received that organ, the imprint of that organ followed to the next person. Now,
wow.
you can't prove that, but wow, what a great story to write about.
Yes.
And that's what I did. I wrote it in that text. I wrote it in that content,
Oh,
and
that is
it
amazing.
just changed people. So not only are you changing them by saving their life, but you're actually saving their life
Yes.
because you're helping to create a better person than the one that was there before.
Oh, I love it. Like creating a better spirit,
A
even,
better
you know.
self. A better
Yes.
self.
Oh, I love that. That is
You and me
amazing.
both.
I love that. Oh, I love it. That was,
You're
Yeah,
gonna have to
yeah,
recover, right,
that's how
Bobby? You're
that's
gonna
a
have to recover.
that's like right.
yeah.
That's like
Get your
right.
heart right here.
Yes.
Get your heart.
That's like right in my neighborhood there, Robert. Right there.
Well, that's my
Right
real.
there.
That's what I like to write about.
Yeah.
I've written about a man who had a dog. Had him for a couple of years. It was a dog that actually came to him, and he didn't buy the dog. The dog found him,
Wow.
and he loved this dog so much. And then when the dog died, it's almost like his whole spirit just left.
Oh.
And I wrote it that way to show how this individual had changed so much. And then one day he has I guess you might say, an epiphany where the dog comes back to him and show him the old saying about a dog being man's best friend. I wrote it the other way around, where man is dog's best friend. So that was the way I wrote it. I wrote it that way.
Wow.
Wow. Oh my gosh. That would be a really good film
You know,
to see.
that would relate to me because we don't have any pets or anything. But growing up, I had we had a Doberman Pinscher for 11 years. So he was there through, most of my, guess I could say elementary school up until I went to college. And then the day that, he was getting weaker, I had no inkling that when I came home from school, from college, that they would have had, they had to put him down. Because normally he was so weak. He was just kind of laying there, and you know, he couldn't really respond or anything. But I went down to the step downstairs, and I sat there and I just rubbed him and everything. And then I don't know how, but he had the strength to just put his head on my leg, and I pretty
Yeah.
much I knew that was it right there. So I just kind of stroked him and everything, told him I loved him, and then, like I said, when I came home, my mom and my dad's best friend said, "Well, we had to take him and put him
Well,
down.
you know what?
He had tumors."
It's so funny you said that because
Mhm.
that is what I call the script. My best
Mm.
friend.
Wow.
That's what I call it. So it's so funny you
Wow.
said that. That's
Oh.
exactly what I call it. And I call it not my best friend, meaning the man saying that to the dog, but the
Mhm.
dog saying that to him, because
Oh.
that's how it's relayed. That dog was not only your best friend, but he was in reverse. So
Mhm.
that's the way I wrote it. And I think, because when I write, I can visualize. I can see it. It's like I can put a character there or two characters there and let them face off with one
Yes.
another with the lines going back and forth, and I can see it. And it's like when I see it, it's like, wow, I can't believe that I did that, even though it hasn't been done yet.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
It looks like we have some comments.
Okay. Okay.
Ooh. Shar says, "Awesome." Shar sends
Her
her condolences.
about your cousin. Yes.
Danetta as well. And she says, Danetta says, organ donation changes lives.
It
And
does.
then Shar was, just kind of expressing her emotions because of what I said about our family dog when we
your
had that
dog.
years ago.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was my best friend. That was my brother. He knew he was a dog. we did everything together. We ate together. We drank. Well, he drank his water. I drank my soda. So I mean, anyway, but yeah, we did everything together.
Oh, that's amazing.
Well, Robert, is there anybody that you would like to work with in the near future?
Anybody, everybody. I'm open. I'm open to it. I think the more of that, that you do that, you work outside, you do different things. Kind of, I guess you would say, you're shaking your comfort level a
Mhm.
little bit,
Yes.
because we all have ideas. We all have the ability to be creative, and I think that the more of that you do, where somebody who I meet might say something to me and say, what do you think if we were to collaborate and write a story like this? I'd say, yeah, I think that would be great. And then we all come together and we form our ideas and we put it to print and make it happen. So yeah, I would be definitely open to working with anybody.
Yes, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And well, what do you see coming up next for yourself?
Well, again, all of this is it's still new. I keep saying that all the time, but it's still new to me. But
Yeah.
even considering how new it is, it's amazing how many things have changed, how many things have happened. So I don't want to stop. I want to keep doing what I'm doing, and writing is a way to do that. I just want to keep writing, creating content, creating storylines that will help to, let's say, to make this world a friendlier place. And I've written also for other people. In other words, they give me a storyline, and I'll create dialogue
Mm,
based on their story. So I've done it that way as well. I will say that it is more fun when you create your own storylines
yeah.
to write, because you know exactly what it is that you want to write. When you write for somebody else's story, it's not as easy because you want to make sure that you're on target with what it is that they're trying to express, and
Yes.
and that takes a lot of work. I mean, it takes more work than just writing to your own stories.
Mm, that's so true. Oh my gosh. That's
Yeah.
so true. I wonder like how does one um choose I guess I should say choose screenwriting as
Hmm.
opposed to, there's so many other, like there's book
Yeah,
writing, magazines, like how is it that, how is it that you choose or does it choose you basically?
you know what? I'm wondering if it chose me. I really am. I'm wondering if it just, oh, there he is, Robert. I know that guy. I, I'm wondering, I'm wondering if that's what happened, because all of this stuff, it happened by chance. It
Yeah.
happened by accident.
Mm,
And I'm not even sure myself how this got started. I really
yeah.
don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I don't know. I'm gonna have to write a story to that. But
Write a story. There you
I'm
That's
go.
a
gonna
good
write a
answer.
Write a
story about
story
that.
for it.
Yeah,
Good
so I
answer.
don't know. I'm thinking it chose me. If I have the time, I got to say this, because my wife and I, the way we met was also obviously by chance. The way Sam and you, Bobby, the way you guys met, it
Yeah,
was all by chance.
that's right.
And how my wife and I met was really kind of ironic in a way, because I was sitting on this cafe table at this cafe at the Long Island Railroad, where I was taking the train in the morning. And I was sitting there, I was beating myself up over things in my life.
Mm,
And who would have thought possible that my wife would just come walking right by? And literally, I was living in the past. I
oh,
really was. I was living in the past. I was beating myself up over things that I had no control over. I was my mom and dad's caregiver for
mm,
about 10 years. When my dad passed, then was my mom. And so
mm,
I was, I don't know, I guess I was picking on myself for things that I did good. I was doing good things, but
yes.
I was not happy with the methods. I'm like, you know what? You did the right thing. You should be proud of yourself. And I've actually had to convince myself of that.
Mm,
And that's what I was beating myself up over that morning. And then all of a sudden, my wife comes by. I didn't never knew her, never met her before. Didn't know she lived in the neighborhood, the
wow.
one that I lived in Kew Gardens. Uh,
Oh,
and and all of a sudden, everything switched. It changed. I went from looking at the past to now looking at the present and the future.
yes. Yes.
That's how quick it was. That's how quick that was. It was as if time stood still. You know, we've heard that when you fall in love, that the clock stops for a brief
Yes.
moment. And that's what this was like for me. It was like
Mm.
as if the hands of time stopped for a
Oh my
brief moment.
gosh.
And I was like, oh my God. And I've been on that ride ever
Oh,
since then. And I don't want to get off. I want to stay on that
yes.
ride.
Yes. And you all recently celebrated an anniversary, right? Was that
We
that was,
celebrated our 11th wedding anniversary last
yes.
Wow.
month, and
Congratulations.
Yes.
I guess I'm somewhat of a sentimental person.
Yeah.
So on the 10-year anniversary of when we met, not our wedding anniversary, but on the 10-year anniversary when we met,
Yes.
I had put together a party at a
Oh,
local restaurant not too far from where we live. And I asked the restaurant, would it be okay, because it's on their grounds, would it be okay if I placed a plaque on
oh,
that in that area where we met? And
oh,
it absolutely, and it's still
wow.
there 3 years later. It's
Oh,
it's
wow.
I can't believe it.
That is
I
so
can't
cool.
believe it. I
I
thought,
can't
you know,
believe
somebody
it.
would come along, yank it out, and say, get this out of
Right. Do something crazy. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
like you never know. You never know what people,
And it's so
might
funny.
be thinking.
I'll sit there sometimes, and I'll look very innocent, and I'll see somebody come by and they'll say, "Oh, look at that plaque! Oh my God, Rob and Leah met here. Oh, that." And I'm like, "Wow!" I said, "Yeah."
Yes.
There was one time a person came up to me. Do you know who that Robert guy is? I said, Yeah, I do. I know him very well. Oh my God, he's such a great guy. Really? Where does he live? Oh, he lives right around the corner.
Oh,
So I had a little fun with it, and then finally I had to tell him. I said, "Oh, that's me." He said,
that's
"Oh,
me.
you."
Um,
I love that. We should try to find some place we could do. See if
yeah.
someone will
Hey,
let us put a
hey,
plaque somewhere.
hey, Sam. See, now I'm going to step up your game. I'm going
That's
to step
it.
up your
Now you
game.
got to step
Okay.
it up. You got to step it up now.
Hey.
That's right. No
Thanks,
more
Robert.
fooling around, now. No more fooling around.
Thanks, Robert. No, it's all good. It's all fun. Hey, and speaking of, man, Shar is having a ball here in the comments. She says, choose you makes sense. Like for me, music keeps choosing me and
That's
it
right.
won't let go.
That's right.
Yeah,
And then
that's
she
it.
said, your your story is incredible, Robert. Your love story, I mean.
Well,
And
and it's bigger than that. I just don't want to go through it. You know, my wife always says, like, you could tell a good story. My wife will tell it in 2 minutes. I'll tell it in 2 hours. So they'll say, "What do you want, the short version or the long version? How much time do you have? How much
How
time
much
do you have?"
time do you
I'd like both.
that's me. I'm the storyteller. Sam will give it to you straight in a couple of minutes. Like, no, fill
No, that's
it in.
my
Fill
wife is
it
the one
Yeah.
that tells it real short, real short.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, she'll be like, chapter 2 is kind of short. That
Fill
wasn't
it
really,
in. Beef it up.
yeah. I'm like, okay, yeah. I went to Burger King. I know. I didn't want to add that into the thing. But anyway, it sure says that you're giving life. I can't give up on love, and what a wonderful tribute.
Oh.
Uh, Thank you, Charles. Thank you.
Well, I'll tell you what, we definitely have some amazing people that stop on past the CCI radio show each and every
Yes.
week. And we definitely want to thank Robert for coming on. And Robert, before we close out the show, which would be in a few minutes, do you have a few moments off record just to kind of chit chat?
Oh, absolutely. I would love
Okay,
to.
Excellent.
perfect. Yeah, we'd like to hang out with you for a couple minutes afterward. And do you have any shout outs that you would like to give?
Well, I gave a couple out. I gave one to my friend Lester, one to my other friend Naz, and I got to bring up Andrew. So, Andrew, Lorraine DeLuca, she's an actress living in North Carolina, and I met her through Lester. She has an amazing story herself,
Oh,
Hmm.
but I'm not going to tell it. I kind of sort of know it. I'm going to let her tell it. But
okay.
again, an amazing actress, but an amazing human being. Some of the things that she went through when she was much younger, before she did acting. So a lot of shout outs. Wow. I mean, wow, my family, my friends, people who I worked with. I used to work for a Japanese bank for 20 years until it was no longer there anymore, my job. But I have so many friends through that.
Yes.
I think that the way I live my life as a writer is the way that I try to live my life as a person, as a human being at work. Like, to give you a real quick example, on a person's first day at work, it's probably the most agonizing thing because it's your first day. You've never met any of these people before.
Yes.
I would usually be the first person that they met from the bank where I worked because I was responsible for taking their pictures. I was responsible for giving them their access. I was the security manager for the bank. So I'm fixing them up with everything that they need. And when they're showing up to see me, I could just, hand them their card. Here, go, get lost. No, I couldn't do that. And the person who took my job over when I retired, I said, that's the right way to do it. You treat that person with respect, make them feel welcomed on their first day, because they're going to always remember that. You'll always remember your first day. You'll also remember your last day, but but you want to remember that first day, and I think it's important. So, as I live my life as a writer, as I write, is how I live my life as a husband, but also as a colleague at work.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. I see Donetta has something to say.
Yeah, actually, before that, Shar said great show.
Thank you,
Donetta says such an inspiring show today. Thank you, Robert, for sharing your stories, and best wishes to you.
Oh,
thank you, everybody. Really, I mean that. Thank you.
Yeah, we really appreciate all the love and support we get each and every week for the CCI radio show.
Yes.
And make sure you guys click, like, share, subscribe to our channel, hit that bell for show notifications. And if you didn't watch Cook and Phone with Mrs. Coverage yesterday, make sure you go back and watch that. It's available right here in our channel. And you made a real tasty drink too. So
well, that's good.
People have to watch it and see what it was.
That's true.
It was really good. So again,
we do want to find out how can people get in touch with Robert if they wanted to. Like for instance, Neela, who wants to write she wants you to write her play.
Well, on Instagram, it's Robert Sear 916. On Facebook, God, I don't know what my Facebook thing is. That's a good question. Wow, you asked me a tough one, Bobby.
Oh no.
I want to think it's the same. I think it's the same. But maybe as we communicate after the show is over, you give me some of these names. I'm going to look them up, and I'll friend them. I'll find them and then let them find me. I don't have a website. I don't have that. Lester, you know what? He's good at that. I gotta stay in touch with him because he's got websites and all kinds of stuff. Well, he's larger than life. So but I have to do more of that. He's got it all like one-stop shopping, with his website. Me, I haven't done that yet. I have to be more in tune with being up to date with things like that.
Well, that's all right. Instagram is good, though. I'm sure folks can find you right. A lot of people use Instagram.
Yes,
absolutely.
So guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you guys had a great time, because we did, and thank you so much to our good friend Robert for coming on. We had a great time with you, and we definitely want you back on.
Yes.
I'm appreciative. Thank you.
We'll definitely have you on whenever your schedule permits.
Yes, and we'll be looking to see what happens within my element.
Yes,
I won't be able to catch the live because I'll be at work. But
I'll probably be in between.
Yes,
can't really watch it, but I'm going to definitely watch it.
At least turn it on, right?
Yes,
turn it on.
So,
and I'm going to have to make sure when I go on this next show that I wear a different shirt. He never changed.
You look
his shirt.
terrific.
So,
You look terrific. You look terrific.
hey, Bobby, remind me of the shirt that I wore today. So I don't know.
Oh no. We'll talk about that.
I'll say, Robert, no, don't wear that one.
No,
Don't
don't wear
wear that one.
You wore that Saturday, no.
Oh no. Well, that's definitely gonna be an off-record statement. So, man, anyway, I can't keep a straight face. Anyway, Robert, stay with us. Don't go nowhere. And guys, thank you so much for tuning into the CCI radio show. Lord willing, we'll see you guys next week with some more fun. But until then, Bobby D.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us and for Robert Sear being here with us. Make sure you connect with all of us on all of our social media platforms, and some things are floating across the screen there as well. So check out all of these different things. Thank you so much for joining us. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow's mystery. Today is a gift. That's why we call it the present. Make sure you join us again real soon, and we'll see you again. Have a great day.